You want to make sure that the well or lake water at your home, cottage, or cabin is bacteria-free by installing an ultraviolet disinfection system for your family, right? Well, is it something you can install yourself, or do you need a licensed plumber? Where does it go? Does it go before or after your existing water filtration system? What type of pipe do you need to use? What type of fittings do you need to use? Well, I'm going to explain it all to you starting right now. Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I simplify water filtration to help you conquer crappy water for your family. This video is for the home, cottage, or cabin owner that's looking to invest in an ultraviolet disinfection system, but wants to learn more about what's involved in the installation process. Now, whether you do it yourself or you hire someone else to do it, it's good to know what's involved. Now, you can easily invest in an ultraviolet disinfection system from an online store like eStore.com. We offer free shipping and discount pricing, and you can get a great deal on the product. And like I say, you can easily install it yourself. But what's involved in the installation process? How difficult is it really? Well, I'm going to guide you through the whole process, and along the way, I'll share with you all of my tips and tricks. We do have a full range of ultraviolet disinfection systems available on our e-commerce site. Not sure what size you need for your family? Well, check out my video. I'll put a link in the description down below. And if you're not sure about how these ultraviolet disinfection systems work to kill bacteria to make it safe for your family, check out my video. Again, I'll put a description down below. So keep in mind there are some pre-treatment requirements for the water before it gets to the ultraviolet disinfection system. So keep in mind that the iron has to be less than 0.3 parts per million, the hardness 7 grains per gallon or less, turbidity 1 unit, and again that's to make sure, like I say, that there's no sand and sediment getting through and blocking the light. Manganese 0.05 parts per million, tannins 0.1 parts per million, and ultraviolet transmittance, 75%. What's ultraviolet transmittance? That's the percentage of the light that gets through the water. So if there's some color in the water, you need to have at least 75% of the light getting through the water for it to be able to kill the bacteria. So the next thing to consider is where you're installing the ultraviolet disinfection system. So it's going to be installed after all of the other water filtration equipment that you have, if you have any. So for example, if you have a water softener, an iron filter, etc., the UV system goes after all that equipment. One of the reasons I really like these Viqua VH410 ultraviolet disinfection systems is that the stainless steel housing can be mounted vertically, as you see it here, or it can be mounted horizontally. Now, the preferred orientation is always vertically, and you need, where the lamp goes in, needs to go on the top. And again, you need to leave 20 inches of space above that for changing the UV lamp in the future. But if you're in a crawl space, or you're putting it underneath a cottage or a cabin, you don't have a lot of space, then you can also mount this horizontally. Just keep in mind though that the outlet port needs to be facing up, and that's to eradicate any air bubbles that end up inside the unit so they go up and out. So keep in mind some general precautions. So one thing you need to be particularly concerned about is condensation. Condensation forms on the outside of these the stainless steel housing and the pipe, etc. if it's not insulated, and it's going to drip. So you need to make sure the ballast, the controller, is above any pipes. Make sure there's no pipes running across above it, because again, you'll get condensation, it'll drip on the controller, and you'll short it out. And also you want to make sure that you install the ballast or controller horizontally the way it is here. You don't want to install it vertically, because you don't want to run a situation where any water or any condensation drips onto the electrical connection and runs down into the controller. You also want to make sure wherever you're mounting the ballast of the controller, there's a drip loop after it and a drip loop before it. Keep in mind too that ultraviolet disinfection systems are intended to be installed indoors, not outdoors. Now you can install them underneath a cottage or cabin that's open underneath. You can hang it a piece of wood or a framework from the floor joist and install it to that. That's no problem. You just need to keep it out of the weather. Whenever you're handling the UV lamp or sleeve, make sure that you handle it with paper, not with your bare hands. You don't want to get the oil from your skin on that lamp, and the same thing goes for the sleeve. As I mentioned earlier, the ultraviolet disinfection system goes after your existing water filtration equipment, but it goes before your water branches into hot and cold. And you need to make sure that you've got a 5 micron pre-filter just before the ultraviolet light. So the last thing you need to keep in mind in the planning process is what you're going to mount it to. So the best way to do it is put a piece of 1/2 or 5/8 inch plywood on the wall, and that way you can mount everything to that backboard. All right then, to get started you need to shut off the water. So somewhere you'll have a water shut off. It might be right after the pressure tank, or it might be after your water filtration equipment, but just follow the water back to where you find a shut off and shut off the water. So this is a ball valve here, and you just turn that 90 degrees. Now I'm just going to take this off temporarily, so it gives me a little bit more room to show you what we're doing. So once you shut off the water, then you're going to cut the pipe at a suitable location. After the water's been shut off, then you need to go somewhere in the house and open up a faucet just to release the pressure in the whole system. And it's probably a good idea at that point, because you probably don't have a shut off after the system, is just to let the water run somewhere fairly close to where the system's going to be installed. It might be a laundry room, or it might be a bathroom nearby. Let the water run until it slows right down to a trickle, or ideally stops. Because what's going to happen is when you cut the plumbing, all the water that's in the pipes is going to drain out. So the less water you have to deal with at that point, the better. So when you've drained most of the water out of the system, get a bucket ready, get some rags ready, and then cut the pipe for your install location. So the next thing you're going to want to consider is what kind of fittings you're going to use and what kind of pipe you're going to use. So years ago we used to do all of this in copper. We used to solder all the fittings together, but there's a lot of options on the market right now. You can go with things like these fittings here. Trade name is often shark bite, but it's a quick connect type fitting. So that's something you might want to consider. You may also want to consider going with PEX fittings like this. So in this mock-up, you can see I've used a number of different types of fittings and different types of pipe, and that just to show you some options that you can use and explain where you can and where you can't use them. So of course, years ago we used to you just use everything in copper. We'd solder it all together. But like I said, there's a lot more options now, and for the do-it-yourselfer, a lot of them are a lot easier than sweating pipe fittings together onto copper pipe. So one of the easiest ways to work with is PEX pipe. So this is PEX pipe. It's plastic. It involves a collar, and it involves a fitting that looks something like this. So to use this, you just slide the collar, or slide the ring onto the end of the pipe. So it should be about 1/8 of an inch from the end of the pipe, and then place the fitting inside. And again, you need to push it all the way down. And then you're going to need a crimping tool like this. And this one has a couple different sizes on it. You can see it's a 3/4 inch pipe, and it's also a 1/2 inch pipe. So you just open that up, slide the fitting inside. Oops. Just need to make sure that it's straight, in there straight, like that. And that's what's crimped it. So one of the advantages of using PEX, obviously it's very easy and it's very quick. You don't need to drain every last drop of water out to be able to solder it. And actually, once the fitting is in, it can actually rotate slightly if that's something that you need. So that's a great way to do that. Now to cut PEX pipe, you'll need a tool that looks something like this. I just grabbed this from my workshop, or my toolbox, I should say. And so this is how you can cut the PEX pipe. So I'll show you here. You can just cut it with this tool. You can see I just cut it. All right, and it makes a nice square cut. So that works really well. So something else that's become very popular lately are these quick connect fittings. Like I say, this is a shark bite brand, but I assume there's other brands out there. This one seems to be quite common. Now, one thing you have to be careful when you use these is you need to know how far that fitting fits on, and you need to make sure you get it all the way on. So they do make a jig like this, and what you can do with this is that you slide the pipe in, and then you just put a line around it to tell you how far it needs to go in. So you can see that's how far it needs to go in to make sure that it's all the way in. So if we take the fitting and slide it in, So you can see it feels like it's tight, but it's not in all the way because because of the line, right? So you push it all the way in until you can just see the line. So you need to make sure you do that whenever you use these fittings. So you can also use them on copper. So again, you can see I put a line on there. So again, you can put this fitting on here. And again, watch for the line, slide it all the way in. So you can see that they're all the way in. So they do work fairly well. I guess I'm a little old school. I prefer to use PEX fittings or sweat it with the solder. But like I say, that will definitely work for you. Now you need to keep in mind where you can use PEX and plastic pipe and where you can't. So one place you can't use it is where the light would shine. So the light will shine on the outlet port. So it's always recommended on the outlet port that you go with at least 8 to 12 inches of copper before you switch over to PEX. And the reason is that UV light shines on the PEX and it could deteriorate it. Now, it'll take many, many years for it to deteriorate enough that it'll leak, but it's definitely not recommended to run the PEX right up to the outlet port. All right, so you see how I've set it up here. I've got the 5 micron pre-filter, and again, I've gone with a big blue size. This is a 10-inch big blue. I don't recommend going with those smaller 2.5-inch filter housings. It's not meant for a whole house application. So chances are, if you put that in, you'll be changing that filter a lot. So you're much better off to go with a 10-inch, or if you have a lot of dirt in your water, a 20-inch big blue pre-filter. So you go through that first. Go through the ultraviolet light. Again, the ideal situation is installing it vertically and then have it exit the ultraviolet light. And again, can you see it here? Yes, there should be a ball valve at the end of it. So that makes filter changes and UV lamp changes in the future much easier if you've got a shut-off valve after the system, because then you don't have to drain the whole house down. All right, so then configure it as you see it here. Again, make sure the controller is above so that you don't have any condensation dripping down. Make sure you've got a loop here, a drip loop, before and after. And then you can configure it exactly like I have it here, ideally, or like I said before, if you need to put it horizontally because of space, you can easily do that too. Another great thing about this Viqua VH410 is it comes with these great clamps that you would mount to your backboard and then install the UV inside. Wherever you're plugging the system in, make sure you've got a ground fault circuit interrupter. All right, so once you've got it more or less laid out like this, you've got the pre-filter installed, you've got the plumbing completed, you've located the ballast or the controller in place. Now you need to finish the installation. So the VH410 by Viqua comes with the sleeve already pre-installed, and there's a spring inside that sleeve. And everyone always asks me, what's the spring do? Well, I'll show you right now. So to release the cap at the top, you push the fittings together on either side. You push that together, and that's what releases it. Now I'll just show you where the sleeve is. So we'll just unscrew the end cap here. And you can see the sleeve just pokes out through the end here. It's poking out, I guess, about 1/2 inch. So it actually pokes out 1/2 inch on this end and 1/2 inch on the other end. And then you see there's an O-ring there. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a spring inside. I'll just show you here the lamp. And again, you need to handle it with paper towels, as I am here, or a cloth, or wear gloves, something like that. You don't want to get the skin from your oil onto that lamp. But if you look at the end, you see that we have these pins here. And these pins are offset so that the connector can only be plugged in a certain way. So then if you take the lamp and put it inside, carefully guide it down through. So now you can grab it with your fingers, but only at the very end, the ceramic ends. Okay, so if I just let that go, I don't know if you can see or not, but it just kind of bounces there. So it's bouncing on that spring. So one of the reasons for the spring is if you let it go, it would just fall inside and it would be difficult to fish out. But much more importantly than that, if you let it go, the end of that lamp would actually break through the bottom of that sleeve and you'd have to replace the sleeve. So it's a good safety device. So if you're ever wondering about that spring, yes, it definitely needs to be inside there. All right, so once we've got that up, then again, you look at the keying inside here, matches the lamp. So I'll just pull that up a little bit so that I can match that. And so we'll just slip the pins over. You may have to wiggle it a little bit to get it into place, and then make sure you slide it all the way down. Once you slide it all the way down, make sure the tab lines up with this tab over on this side here. Press it down and you'll hear a click. Okay, and that tells you that it's in place. Now, that lamp will not work unless it's pushed all the way down and clicked into place. So keep that in mind. Sometimes people plug them in and they say, oh, I don't know, it's not working. And it's because it's a safety device. It needs to be plugged all the way in because they don't want you, and you don't want you, viewing that ultraviolet light with your eyes because it would damage your eyesight. Once the lamp's in, you can plug the system in and power it up. You'll see this will illuminate. It'll show 365. That's telling you how many days before it's time to replace the lamp. And then what you can do is you can open up the inlet valve. Open it. Don't open it. Don't jam it all the way open like this. Open it part way, let the water flow through, and check for leaks. If there's any leaks, definitely fix them before you go any further. If there's no leaks, let the system fill up. Now, a lot of folks think you're done at this stage. You're not. You need to disinfect the plumbing. So what's happened is that as the water flows through the ultraviolet disinfection system, yeah, it's going to kill the bacteria, but it's not going to kill any bacteria in the water that's downstream. So at this point, a lot of folks would think that you're done, but you're not. So what you need to realize is that as the water flows through the pre-filter and through the ultraviolet light, it's going to kill the bacteria, absolutely. But what about the water that's downstream of the system? Yeah, you drain most of the house when you're putting it through, but there's definitely going to be places where there's water in there. And in a lot of cases, that water may or may not have bacteria in it. So what you need to do is you need to disinfect all the plumbing in the whole house. I've got a great YouTube video that shows you how to disinfect that plumbing. I'll put a link in the description down below. Definitely check it out and definitely make sure during the installation that you do that. So can you save money by installing ultraviolet disinfection system yourself? Absolutely. Doing some planning, following the tips and tricks that I've presented to you in this video, and following the instructions that come with your ultraviolet disinfection system will definitely work out for you. Click here for your next video on ultraviolet disinfection, and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments, put them down below.